Give the gift of Craftsman tools at Lowe's. With a heritage of performance and reliability, Craftsman is the perfect gift for the project people on your list. There's something for every builder, fixer, and creator you know. Choose from power tools, outdoor power equipment, mechanics tools, tool storage, and more. Shop in-store, online, or through our app, because there are more ways to holiday at Lowe's. And a gift from Lowe's is a gift that leads to more. U.S. only.
Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime games. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Check it out, Capital Casino. Please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's Father Christmas.
Well, yeah, Vince, you are dressed like Santa with the big red coat and all, which means you must be giving away some sweet deals for the holidays.
There's nothing sweeter than saving money on trucks.
So I could expect some big savings on, say, new Ram 1500 Laramies?
You read Santa's mind. Right now, during the Big Finish event at last year's Elk Grove Dodge, save $6,500 off MSRP on new 2021 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4.
Vince, $6,500 off new Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cabs?
That's right.
$6,500 is a lot of money, and you've got enough for all of Santa's helpers? Because, you know, we've all been very good this year.
I sure do. I've got 17 of these new Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cabs, and they're all $6,500 off MSRP.
Now through January 3rd, save $6,500 off MSRP on 17 new 2021 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4 Hemis.
But only at last year's Elk Grove Dodge, the Elk Grove Auto Mall, and online at elkgrovedodge.com. For over 60 years, our name means a great deal.
Sample VIN 771499 expires 1/3/22.
Call Rapid.
Relax. Just call Rapid first.
Rapid First Plumbing. Go to rapidfirstplumbing.com.
Bang, bang, Niner gang. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Faithful to the Bay. Be there for the regular season finale of the 49ers' 75th anniversary with the full capacity of the faithful at Levi's Stadium. January 2nd, it's Faithful Appreciation Day as the 49ers take on the Houston Texans. Secure your seats today at 49ers.com/tickets.
Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C Sports. This is Charlton with Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And people who love sports, it's all fair and level war. Today is a beautiful December the 21st, 2021. Grombo Deportes Bonjour, the Benvenuti. As I say, welcome to the show. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. Go by and test drive yours. Just tell them Charlton at Big C Sports Center is all fair and level war. I want to say today, you can follow Big C Sports all over the world on 20 podcast applications from Google, Alexa, Spotify, SpeakerSpot. You guys also Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, and then Podchaser. And now, let me catch my breath. Give me some praise for catching my breath. All fair and level war. You can also follow Big C Sports on GeoSavan Podcast out of London, England, Podtail, YouTube Podcast, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line Podcast, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, also Listen Notes, and then number 20, Podcast Wise. Give that some praise. You can follow Big C Sports on Podcast Wise. Gotta be wise nowadays. All fair and level war. I love saying you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. A lot of things going on in the world of sports. I love paying homage to my family lineage, especially during the holidays, from my great-grandmother Mamo, my great-grandfather Pop, and then my grandmother Madia, my grandfather Hezekiah. My beautiful mother helped start a Head Start program in Northern California and helped win the Little League Championship of the universe. Give that some praise. Give that some praise. Head Start program and the Little League Championship, always saying rise and shine on my father's side. Albert Curry, my grandfather, and Alberta Curry. My grandmother started 2 service stations in Oakland, California, and also had 2 churches, built the 3rd one in Northern California, and was a pastor as well. My father, a retired Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, and helping us so the planes can fly safely, of course, doing a good job keeping the planes flying safe. My brother Todd with his voice is kind of like lightning. My beautiful son Malcolm, a college graduate, giving me NBA stats all over that. My daughter Daisy, always helping with the coaches that would come to the West Coast, helping set up events. And then Big C with his wealth of knowledge in the past. Give everybody some praise. I said, give them praise, praise, praise. Let's get ready to rumble. Love saying that. Big C Sports ESPY nominated Big C Sports Podcast. No teleprompters, no producer in my ear, no three-way scripts. All I do is with my higher self. I produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast the show. I do all the sound effects of what's provided by the platform. Sound effects make a show. It's all fair and level more. And then I do the commercials. I do the stats telling, the storytelling. I love doing the play-by-play. Steph Curry for 3. Last night, Golden State Warriors got a win over the Sacramento Kings. NFL football, the Raiders got a win with a last-second field goal over Cleveland. And Minnesota also got a win over the Chicago Bears, all fair and level war. I upload the show to 20 podcast applications. In fact, I uploaded to the agency. They send out the 20 podcast applications. Really impressed with that growth. Never missed a show since Big C Sports started this September the 12th, 2015. The only sports show in the universe, in my opinion, that pays homage to God. One of my favorite scriptures is Genesis 13:15. It says, "For all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever." In the book of James chapter 4, verse 2 said, "We have not because we ask not." So if you want something, just ask and give the Bible some praise. I said, give it some praise, praise, praise. All fair and level where I love doing Big C Sports Podcast. Had a little bit of an itchy throat yesterday, but today is much better, and I hope it shows. Still going to do an abbreviated show for the holidays. I love paying homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know any veterans going through issues, and it doesn't have to be a veteran, it's also for civilians, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do that, give our first responders some praise. They really deserve it. Whenever you have an emergency, you pick up the phone, and they're always there to help. Let's make sure we give them praise. Also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. It's like in Genesis 1:3, God said, "Let there be light." Open your cell phones and say, "Play Big C Sports Podcast," and you'll see our show pop up anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the whole wide world. Anywhere in the whole wide world. Really do appreciate that. Love bringing you Big C Sports Podcast. Also, I want to say, if you think about real estate, I love being affiliated with Valley Homes Weekly TV. Just go to valleyhomesweekly.com. Wherever you are in your neck of the woods, you want to find out what's going on in the world of real estate, go to the nationalrealestatepost.com. Also, if you want to know what's going on with mortgage rates in the country, go to mortgagedailynews.com. That's mortgagedailynews.com, or you can simply call 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624 and find out more about real estate. Just looking to recruit 10,000 real estate agents and brokers all over this country, helping to put people back to work. And hopefully that will start happening more and more as we find out what's going on in the world of real estate. There's also something going on for unsecured credit between $10,000 and $400,000 unsecured. You just need a 680 credit score and 2 years of employment proof, whether you're self-employed or a W-2 or a business. All you got to do is pick up the phone, call 800-772-8624, and give that some praise, praise, praise. Love giving that praise with the Big C team. Really do appreciate that. Also, I want to just tell you, the Potato Bowl's going on today. There's a couple of college games that are going on, but I really do want to focus on people who are betting this time of the year. Never bet more than you can lose. Of course, there's always guys that say, "Listen, man, you got to follow me because I got all the winning scores. I know all the winning teams." And if you think about it, if they know, why would they want to share the pot with anybody else? It's just for fun. Some guys do it for a living. But still, don't get sucked into it. Never pay out more or bet more than you can afford to lose. That's the rule of thumb, if that makes sense to you. Also want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% honest game. The sportsman. When you're watching a big game, you want to eat the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meat. There's a lot of exotic meats out there and hamburgers nowadays. You want to make sure you get the Big C Burger. It tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hands. All fair and level war. I want to get into the NBA schedule tonight on an abbreviated show for Big C Sports Podcast. It's a short schedule for Tuesday, December the 21st. We have Indiana at Miami. That game already tipped off at 4:30 p.m. Detroit at the New York Knickerbockers. The Knicks are trying to get their groove back. That's at 4:30 p.m. already tipped off. And you have the Madison Square Garden's always a mecca of basketball, no matter how good the Knicks are. But they should make the playoffs this year again. You have Portland Trailblazers playing down south. Dollar Dame going down to Zion Williamson territory. But Zion Williams is not playing because he still has some health issues with his foot. And then that's tipped off at 5 o'clock p.m. A good game. If you think about it, Minnesota is at Dallas. That game is sponsored by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with, what's all this, exotic meats? Yes, exotic meats, because a horse and the Timberwolf are exotic meats, if that makes sense to you. And the Phoenix Suns at the LA Lakers, that's a 7:30 p.m. tip-off. Tips off a little bit later in about the next hour or so. That's going to be on TNT, as well as Indiana at Miami is on TNT. When you think about the COVID situation that's hit the country pretty hard, especially over the past month, I'd say, with the Omicron variant of COVID-19, you have another postponement of NBA basketball. Washington, they are at Brooklyn. That's postponed. Now, ironically, Brooklyn's just across the river from New York. So Detroit at New York, the Knicks, that game is not postponed. But the Washington game at Brooklyn is postponed because of so many players that have tested positive for COVID-19. Even in Northern California, you hear about players that come up positive with COVID-19, but they don't often tell you that there are oftentimes a lot of players on the staff are affected by COVID-19. And there are a lot of people in organizations, NFL and NBA, that are not even in the buildings now. But they don't announce their names when it comes to them being on pause with COVID-19. Normally it's just about the players. But I know for a fact, if you look around, there are a lot of players and a lot of staff that are out there on COVID-19 protocol. So a lot of G League players are stepping up in the NBA. Even with the Lakers, you have Davis is out. He's going to be out a couple of weeks with a bad knee. And so it's going to be about, can LeBron James, who also had his health issues earlier in the season, can he and Russell Westbrook right the ship for the LA Lakers? And the Lakers have to be relevant for NBA basketball to be all that it can be, just like the Boston Celtics, Philadelphia 76ers, Golden State Warriors. When those teams are relevant, makes a big difference in the world of NBA basketball. So we wish everybody nothing but the best, especially the people behind the scenes that you don't even hear about when they're out because of COVID. They don't make that news when it comes to administrators and staff members. So I wish them nothing but the best. Also, for some news for I'll Do It the Right Way. Are you ready for some ice? Are you ready for some NHL? NHL hockey. NHL hockey to pause the season starting tomorrow, Wednesday, and to resume the schedule after Christmas break amid COVID-19 cases. So that's the first major league to shut down this year because of COVID. We know we had a lot of things last year where teams were shutting down because of COVID-19, but the NHL will pause its season on Wednesday, just 2 days before its planned Christmas break. The league announced that Monday evening. All NHL team facilities will be closed on Wednesday through Saturday as the league tries to weather several COVID-19 outbreaks. Players are set to report back to the team facilities over the weekend on Sunday and resume daily testing. Now, the NHL schedule is set to resume December 27th. The decision left just 3 games on the NHL slate before the break. And so Monday's game between the Dallas Stars and Minnesota Wild, Tuesday's matchup tonight between the Washington Capitals and Philadelphia Flyers, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN+, and also Tuesday's game between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Las Vegas Golden Knights. It's been challenging for the NHL as 11 teams have suspended operations, and the league postponed all games through Christmas that involve cross-border travel between Canada and the United States. More than 15% of the league's players were in virus protocol as of Monday night. And you know what's going on. The more they test, they're going to find that people are going to test positive. the good thing, if there can be a good thing, kind of an oxymoron to be positive with COVID-19 to be a good thing, but this new variant that's based on what I've heard from doctors, it has not been as hurtful or harmful on the health of people. So that's just what I've heard and read about. I'm sure you can all do that. I'm not a doctor. But including games affected by the pause starting Wednesday, 49 games have been postponed. 49 is a lot of games trying to get on top of it. But we're not postponing football. We're just pushing football back. We're not postponing basketball. I mean, basketball hasn't had any. Well, they have had tonight, Brooklyn, but they're not canceling all the games just to get on top of things until after Christmas. I like what NHL is doing. However, we're not, I don't want to sound ignorant, but people aren't being affected as severely as what happened in 2020 when everything went on pause. We have the vaccine now. There's more things that people can do medically to keep people healthy, but that's up to a doctor to describe. But 49 games have been postponed, put on pause. The NHL views that as a material damage to the schedule, which is sufficient cause for the league to exercise its opt-out clause for player participation. Out of the Beijing Olympic sources told some media outlets, NHL is expected to make an Olympic announcement as soon as this week. You know, when I think about how much it's affected the whole world, NHL reintroduced stricter protocols this week for players, including daily testing instead of once every 3 days, social distancing measures, and restrictions on where players can go. They are not limited to be at home or a hotel or on the ice rink. So they're doing whatever they can to help. There's only one player who is not vaccinated in the NHL, allegedly. That's the Detroit Red Wings forward Tyler Bertuzzi. The NHL and NFL and the NHL Players Association have recommended the vaccine booster. Players do not have plans to mandate this season, but it's all fair in love and war. Columbus Blue Jackets, Montreal Canadiens, Edmonton Oilers, Ottawa Senators shut down due to COVID-19 issues. They shut down 4 more teams as of Monday. COVID-19 causes continued to rise around the league. The Columbus Blue Jackets, Montreal Canadiens, Edmonton Oilers, Ottawa Senators had their teams' activities paused until after December 26th. That brings the league's total to 11 teams that have already shut down in the past week. And these 4 joining the Calgary Flames, Detroit Red Wings, Toronto Maple Leafs, Colorado Avalanche, the Florida Panthers, Nashville Predators, and the Boston Bruins. So the NHL has been more proactive than the NFL and the NBA. Columbus was shut down after several of its players tested positive for COVID-19 on Sunday, and 3 more were added to the list on Monday. Now, the NHL they cited concerns on the number of positive cases within the last several days, as well as concerns to COVID-19 spread as a reason for canceling the Blue Jackets games on Monday and also Thursday, both against Buffalo. I want to ask you a question, anyone listening. If you think about the league, NHL shutting down because they're trying to get on top of this, no arena has told the fans you can't come in. I know when they had let in last year, some people, arenas were saying you can have 25% capacity. I know some media boxes even covering the 49ers, there are times when they're saying we're going to cut back on press credentials because there's too many people in the press box. So they're making sure they do social distancing. And even with the Sacramento Kings, they're doing Zoom for a lot of media. They don't allow a lot of people inside the media because of COVID. And now you have coaches that are testing positive that are on COVID protocol, whether it's Northern California, Southern California, all over the country. So teams are facing that. And that's something that you got to keep in mind. Before the pause, Columbus had canceled its morning skate Monday while awaiting COVID-19 test results. The Blue Jackets had already canceled practice the day before in the wake of 3 positive tests. The team could resume practice Sunday if cleared by the league, and Columbus scheduled to face Toronto next Monday. That could be in jeopardy as well. So who's telling the fans we have the coaches who can't come to a game, they're in COVID protocol. We have players who can't play in a game, they're in COVID protocol, but you can still buy tickets and go to the game. NHL also postponed Tuesday's game in Seattle. They've just been awarded a new franchise, the Kraken, and the Arizona Coyotes. Make up a date for that game has yet to be determined, and more than 15% of the league's players are in virus protocol. So the spread of the Delta and the Omicron variants across North America has made Olympic participation increasingly unlikely, with a final decision expected this week. We know a lot of people got together over Thanksgiving holidays, traveling, and now we have a spike coming up for the Christmas holiday. The malls are full, and people are... If malls were like athletic facilities, they would have shut down already. Would you believe that? If you go to any mall in the country, and they're packed with people buying Christmas presents, why has the NHL went on pause and shopping malls have not gone on pause? Because of the financial windfall that's happening with people going into the malls. And that's a county ordinance. I know in California, they've already mandated as of last week that you have to have a mask going in facilities now, whether you're going to a grocery store or a bank, or especially restaurants. Some places in the Bay Area, if you don't show a vaccination card, you can't even get in. They won't let you in. But shopping malls, they're all full of people, wall-to-wall packed with people. So that's where some of the spread's coming to. There's still people who believe, it's not a big deal. We can get over it. It's politics. It's not politics. It's just business. And I know that you can't tell people not to do anything, but unfortunately, there are people that are just going to have their own issues. And I hate to see that happen, but even myself, I stay away from people as much as possible because I don't want to have any issues with my own health. And I've been vaccinated too. So I just wish everybody the best for the holiday season. I know it's Christmas, and because people are affected by what they see on the news or what they don't see on the news, people are going to do what they want to do. I just want to bring this up too. For the Cleveland Browns and Las Vegas Raider game last night, Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum, they did not clear COVID-19 protocols. And the Raiders went in there and got a last-second field goal and won the game. But think about this. Shopping malls are open, but Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield and Case Keenum, the backup quarterback, they failed to test off the reserve COVID-19 list, meaning that third-string starter Nick Mullins, who played okay last night, he got the start against the Las Vegas Raiders. Why aren't the shopping malls doing the same kind of protocol to keep people safe? We know it's all about money. It's just the way it is, and nothing's going to change. And going into the season, the NFL is not going to do what the NHL did, as far as I know. There's no way they're going to stop it. They'll just pull players out. They'll let the fans keep coming in. The Bears versus the Vikings, the final score, when you think about it, Chicago is frustrated by their loss. They lost 17-9 Monday Night Football between the NFC North rivals, Bears and Vikings. And the biggest weakness is when you think about it, that they totaled 9 penalties, 91 yards for the Bears. The Bears' offense struggled as well. They were not able to convert any of their third and fourth down attempts. It's just a rebuilding year for the Chicago Bears, and the Vikings aren't as well as either. Kirk Cousins finished 87 passing yards, which is the least amount of yards he's thrown for in a game in his career. He was 12 of 24 attempts, threw 2 touchdowns, and threw 1 interception. The Bears finished 370 total yards, while the Vikings had only 193 yards of total offense. But that's just the way it is. Even if players aren't testing positive for COVID-19, they're around players who are, and the more they test, the more they're going to find out people that are affected by it, and that's just my opinion. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When I come back, we're going to talk about a little bit more football and what's going on in your neck of the woods in the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. All right, we're back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 20 podcast applications all over the universe. We do appreciate that. It's all fair in love and war. I want to just get back to some news about what's going on in the world of sports and media. The NHL, obviously, they decided to shut down until after Christmas, but also we wish everybody well in media. The ESPN's top anchor, Stephen A. Smith, revealed on ESPN that he was COVID-19 positive, tested positive on his First Take program this morning on a Tuesday, and he is tested positive for COVID-19 the ESPN personality announced Tuesday on First Take. And he's 54 years old, appeared virtually on the show and said that his positive test was the reason that he missed Monday's episode. And the longtime broadcaster said that he was experiencing mild symptoms, had a fever over the weekend. And Smith noted that he's gotten 2 Pfizer vaccine shots, but has not yet received a booster. And myself as well with Big C Sports, I received my Pfizer vaccine. I'm waiting for my booster coming up. And then, so he clarified that Thursday and Friday, because on First Take where he had been, I guess he had some type of medical procedure, but he said that he had a slight fever. An outspoken host said he discovered that he was COVID-19 positive on Saturday after filming First Take in Los Angeles. And see, people talk about the NBA. Kyrie Irving, I guess they decided to bring him back to the Brooklyn Nets, and he is on COVID protocol after not getting vaccinated. Kevin Durant been vaccinated. He's also on COVID protocol. So isn't that something? Now, Smith, who sounded raspy a little bit off the rest of the weekend and for Christmas holidays, will be back in studios in the new year. But the good thing is that people they're just, it's not as severe as it was when it hit last year without a vaccine. So ahead of Tuesday's appearance on the show, Smith tested. He was teasing on Twitter that he had something to tell people. But everybody has to go through something. And I just wish everybody the very best. I know a lot of times people want to think it's just athletes. But there's also entertainment industry. There are nightclubs where people are having concerts. Casinos are full. Shopping malls are full. And I just ask anybody out there shopping in mass numbers, of course people wearing masks, but if athletes are catching COVID, and we're still having college football games and college basketball games, even though some have been put on pause, who's testing the fans? Nobody's testing fans. It's just the way it is. And everybody has their own opinion about it. But I wish everybody nothing but the best. Is all fair and level. Before I get into, I'm going to make a U-turn here. I want to step into the high school ranks because around the country, I believe all over the country, every state has finished their high school state championship. So I want to say, as I've said from start to finish, I want to congratulations to the high school football Big C's Friday Night Lights. The number 1 high school football team all over the country is number 1 Santa Ana, California, Mater Dei. The Mater Dei Monarchs went wire to wire on Big C Sports. Number 1 high school football teams in the country, and as I picked them, they're so talented of a high school football program, and I'll tell you why. I've seen this program for about 25 years under Bruce Wallace, and I've seen them knock off the top teams from Florida. The top team with IMG Academy, they snapped their 4-year unbeaten winning streak. They snapped it was St. Francis, Baltimore, Maryland, stopped their 3-year unbeaten winning streak, beat teams from D.C. to Texas, beat Duncanville of Texas, the number 2 team in Texas, finished their state championship, lost to North Shore 17-10 at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas. They lost 17-10. They opened the season getting beat in Texas by Mater Dei. It was 45-3. Santa Ana Mater Dei finished the year where it began number 1 in the country, according to many websites out there that cover high school sports. Max Preps is one of them. And in the top 25 high school football rankings, the Mater Dei Monarchs from Southern California, right near Disneyland in Santa Ana, are the Max Preps national champion for the second time in 5 years, going wire to wire just as they did in 2017. And Mater Dei has finished ranked in the top 10 every year since 2016. They've gone 71 wins and only 3 losses during that span since 2016. That's better than Nick Saban at Alabama. The Monarchs went 12-0 in 2021, winning 11 games by at least 2 scores. They outscored the opposition 548-152, with the only team in the country to have more than 2 wins against top 25 teams. They beat number 5 Servite of Anaheim twice. They beat number 6 St. John Bosco of Bellflower. They beat number 10 Centennial of Corona, California. And they beat at one time ranked number 9 Duncanville of Texas. Beat them 45-3. They beat Sarah of San Mateo 44-7, the Bay Area champion. And so when you look at that, they're high school kids, but they have obviously been doing a great job of coaching up the players and teaching them how to play football. So I love just paying homage to the Friday Night Lights because that's where everything starts. So modern day Santa Ana, California, number one in the country, start to finish, wishing them nothing but the best. It's amazing that USC and UCLA don't get the top players out of that school. We'll take the Big C pause, otherwise known as the Big C timeout. In the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 20 podcast applications all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. Are you ready for some football? Of course you are. Everybody's ready for football as long as it can kick off. Because the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks, they play, and not everybody can watch it, but they're playing the game tonight. Washington's also playing Philadelphia tonight, and some fans can't watch the games for whatever reason, but you can watch the NFL on Fubo TV, and the Seahawks and Rams were supposed to square off in a key NFC West battle on Sunday afternoon, but because of COVID concerns with the Los Angeles organization, the NFL opted to postpone it a couple of days. So as a result, the Rams and Seahawks will be playing on Tuesday night. That's tonight, and again, I guess it's the week 15 for them, which it seems like a 16 week for them. The Rams 9-4 look to earn their 10th win of the season, and their third consecutively, while the Seahawks are 5-8, will also go for their third straight win while looking to stay alive in the playoff race. So NFL fans are certainly excited for the matchup, which comes within one of the best divisions in the NFL, but will you be able to watch it? So you got to Google around where you can find it. Both the Tuesday NFL games starting at 7 p.m. East Coast time, on Fox, coverage of them will be split. So you'll get to see the Rams and Seahawks game, or you'll get to see the Washington football team and the Eagles. And again, you can go to Fubo TV and figure out where you can watch it, or just Google it in your neck of the woods where you are. Also, the Washington football team at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they have something on television called a blue region or a red region, but you can figure that out. But Washington and Philadelphia, two NFC East teams, and they're figuring out which teams obviously are going to try to stay in the thick of things for Dallas. Dallas is most likely going to win the division. They had a big win over the New York Giants over the weekend, but it's just so much going on in the world of football. It's hard to even know who's going to stay healthy in the new year when the playoffs start. It took 15 weeks for the NFL season to be right here before we had disruptions to the schedule because of COVID-19 cases. But they're still playing games. Cleveland Browns versus the Raiders game was played Monday night. The Raiders won that game, last-second field goal because of cases in the Browns organization. What about the fans, though? Additionally, two of Sunday's games, Philadelphia Eagles versus a Washington football team and Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams, scheduled for tonight. Both have NFC playoff implications. The Eagles and Washington are both 6-7, firmly in the mix for the final wildcard spot. Washington currently holds the number 7 seed. And with Washington having so many of its top players on the COVID-19 list, the Eagles are 6.5-point favorites. And based on BetMGM, the over-under is 42. Game's already underway, and they'll figure out who's healthy after the games. I mean, there's so much happening with COVID players being tested after games to figure out if someone tests positive. But however it comes down, they're going to figure out how to play these games. I just hope that everybody stays healthy. And, of course, you have so many people that are saying the games must go on unless you're an athlete and you're put on pause. No one's talking about the fan base. So I just wish everybody the best when it comes to COVID, whether it's the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles or the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. We are doing an abbreviated show today just for the holidays. There's a couple of bowl games also on slate for today. The first is the Idaho Potato Bowl between Kent State, 7-6 on the season, and Wyoming, 6-6 on the season. Is that really a bowl game? Why not have these teams play at their home stadium, pick the team with the best record, have them host the game, but they're going to put fans on airplanes and fly them across the country to Idaho, to Boise, and Wyoming's favored by 3.5 points. The total is 59.5. Both teams leaning heavy on the run. They'll have to with the weather being inclement up in Boise, Idaho. I'm just telling you, this later on, the Frisco Bowl puts University of Texas San Antonio against San Diego State. Texas San Antonio is 12-1, won the Conference USA. San Diego State is 11-2, and is a Mountain West runner-up after losing 46-13 to Utah State, which went on to beat Oregon State in a bowl game. How about that? How about them apples? So University of Texas San Antonio, a 3-point underdog to San Diego State, which is a very good team. San Diego State also beat Utah earlier in the season, the Pac-12 champion. Isn't that something? So there's a lot going on. A team that beat the Pac-12 champion, San Diego State, over Utah earlier in the year, they're playing in a bowl called the Frisco Bowl. Utah won the Pac-12, playing in the Rose Bowl. Go figure. We need a national playoff system. Can't happen soon enough. I really think that San Diego State had a large number of players sidelined with COVID-19 in the Mountain West title game against Utah State. The Aztecs now reportedly are healthy and should put forth a much better performance this time around. Hoping everybody stays safe. It's all fair and level war. You think about the NBA and college basketball, like the NFL, COVID-19 is having a big impact on those NBA rosters. There are currently 5 games on the schedule, headlined by the Phoenix Suns, taking on the Lakers in a rematch of last year's first-round playoff series. The Suns are on a 3-game win streak and currently have the best record in the NBA at 24-5. The Lakers are 16-15 and have lost their last 2 outings. I told you earlier about Anthony Davis is out with a knee injury, while 7 other players are out due to health and safety protocols. The Suns have covered the spread in 4 of their last 5 games. They're a 7.5-point favorite over the home underdog Lakers. Man, there's just a lot going on in the world of sports. But I know people are going to do whatever they can to celebrate the holidays and stay safe no matter what it is. We got to do what we can to keep ourselves. You just got to stay safe. And how do you? I don't really know how. I don't know how they're going to do it because the games will go on no matter what. Talked about the hockey being on pause. Got the NFL games that are being played tonight between the Rams and the Seahawks. And that's also sponsored by, I almost forgot, the Big C Burger is a tasty burger. And it comes with, what's all those exotic meats? Because the Ram and the Seahawk are exotic meats. But when you think about everything that's happening in the world of sports, from Stephen A. Smith, ESPN's top broadcaster, mentioning that he tested positive for COVID-19. That's something that other broadcasters that have been in contact, in close proximity, is it going to hit them too? We don't know. How do you say it won't? If it's going to hit an anchor that travels all over the country, he does a lot of stand-ups with Mike Wilbon, who's in his 60s. So people have to be healthy, and we got to figure out, you can't wait for someone to tell you if you should test positive or not. Just be careful and stay away from people as much as possible. I mean, everybody has their own thoughts about it. I can't tell anybody what to do. We all have to do what we got to do every single day. I just hope that we can all stay safe going into this new strand of COVID. It's just not as difficult for those who are vaccinated, it seems. That's what my own doctor told me. So I just hope that people can keep that in mind. NFL football is all fair and love and war. Will we even get to the playoffs without postponing more games? And I don't know if we will. But I hope that we can. And I hope that people will take advantage of being able to follow health and safety protocols. We just got to do that. And if we can't figure that out, then our society, we know we're going to have to deal with COVID for a long time. It's going to be here. But so is high blood pressure is treatable. So is diabetes is treatable. People who have high cholesterol is treatable. So many things are treatable. We have, when people catch the flu, when we have medication you can take to make you feel better. A little bit of news about Major League Baseball before I close out. Major League Baseball, Buck Showalter, the New York Mets have found a win-now manager for a team that needs to. New York needs some teams that can win in there. Oakland Athletics promote Mark Kotsay, 46 years old, from third base coach to manager. Some sources said that, and that's just a little bit of baseball. But we've got a long way to go before baseball is going to be back in the swing of things of that. Make the pitch hit deep, right field, back to the wall. Can't wait to hear that. All fair and level war. I want to wish everyone a very happy holiday season as we're out shopping and trying to spend time with loved ones and doing everything you can to make sure you stay safe during the holidays. Don't take for granted that health is something that it's the most important gift you can have. And it's the most important gift that you can give someone, making sure you keep them healthy. We all got to stay healthy. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas as we're doing a preview of a holiday brief, shortened podcast for Big C Sports for the holidays. Everybody, happy Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Back in the day, there's a man by the name of Drew Bodini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sing like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. But all you've got to use, how can you lose? All of it say, I'm so pretty. I'm going to eat all these Big C burgers that makes me land on my feet. That's why I'm always floating like a butterfly. And I'm singing like a bee, I'm rumbling, young man, rumbling. Oh, love all these things. Drew Bodini Brown. My beautiful mother always says there's no excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. You know, any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no one should ever have to deal with that crap. As we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you. We appreciate you. And we hope that you have a super fantastic day. Happy holidays.